Hey folks, I just wanted to let you know that there's an update available to Chordie, and I wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about what's currently available in this update. First things first, let me thank everybody who has supported the app since it was released way back in 2015. Man, I have come a long way in what the app looks like. Yeah, this is pretty funny. I used to have like a clear notes button. This was just in the center and whatnot. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get out of here. Okay, so I want to go through the new features. Let me get my thoughts together. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the Fretboard Preferences. So first of all, there's this little widget right here, Fretboard Preferences. This widget kind of enables or disables the Fretboard unit. A lot of people had asked, hey, how do I disable the Fretboard module in the current version that has it out? This is how you do it. If you disable this and then rerun it and whatnot, if you quit and then rerun, it's going to be off. So yeah, settings are remembered, which is cool. This is all new. Rewrote all this from scratch and whatnot. Okay, let me turn this back on because we're going to spend a little bit of time looking at the Fretboard unit. So first things first, if you want to display, first things first, you can toggle whether or not the notes you're playing are showing up here on the fretboard or on the manuscript view or the piano roll via this show fretted notes on piano roll and Grandstaff toggle like that. Okay, so if you don't want to see that stuff, you can just turn it off like that. There we go. Let me not, that's a bad chord. That's a good chord. Okay. You can change the number of strings and you can cycle through the chords that show up. So if you're playing this, let me close this window. If you're playing this chord, let me do the sustain pedal. You can cycle through that. You can see that it came up with 8 different ways to play that. Some of them cover all notes, some of them do not. That doesn't cover all notes, whatnot. Okay, so that's handy. You can change the number of strings via the plus and minus. Now this range is limited to the 88 keys of the piano. So for instance, before I dive into this feature, let me show you just one feature. You can turn notes on and off via the fretboard just by clicking on them. So you can build up fretboards this way if you don't like the ones that it shows you when you cycle through them. I'll get to that in a little bit. So, okay, so what I was saying was we've got this E, that's this E on the piano. If I push this plus button, it's going to add a string a fourth below that. That's going to be this B string, which is this B right here. We can go again, we get this F sharp down here. A fourth below that is going to be this D flat right there. And then that's it, because fourth below this D flat is below the lowest key on the piano. That would be the A flat down here. Okay. A lot of people don't know that you can right click on these tuners and change the tuning of the fretboard. So let me go back to this. I'll just lower this guy a half step like that. Now, as I was saying before, if you quit and restart, notice this says E flat. If you quit and restart, that's going to be there, which is awesome. So you can see that the tuning is remembered, which is cool. Also, the settings that these are enabled is also remembered. Let me go reset this back to this, and then let me show you how to manually enter fretboards. So for instance, say I'm playing this chord right here. All right, and maybe I don't like where that is, and I don't want to do this, whatnot. Maybe I know that like I'm always going to play it here. I'm always going to play it on the G, and I'm always going to play it there like that. Now, whenever I trigger this chord on my Midi controller, that's the only one that's going to be in the database, and that's the only one that is going to show up. So there's going to be nothing to cycle through. Okay, and that's really handy. And you can just erase all that stuff via this Reset Fretboard Database menu choice right there. Another new thing is if you play more notes than there are strings, it's going to tell you that. So, okay, it's going to show you that, which is handy. There's a lot of people who use this with a keyboard. They don't use the guitar stuff at all, and they can, they just play like big messy chords, or they hold down the sustain pedal and gliss a lot of stuff, and it made the old version crash. And so this will take care of that. It's not going to try to figure out what you're playing if you're not playing. If you're playing more notes than there are strings. Okay, so that's handy. And let's see if it's working on, if you play something and it's like trying to figure out what you're doing. For instance, if I do this, it's going to show you a little thinking thing down here. So I will turn these notes on. I'll go like that, and then I'll add a string up here. And you can see it's thinking currently. All right. So that's what it's going to do. I mean, that's a ton of notes. It's trying to figure out if it's playable or not. So we'll just get rid of that. Now, the next thing is, how do we turn this stuff off? Because it's like annoying to turn it off. So you can just go to the options menu and do all notes off. And there we go. All right, so that's awesome. Okay, let's move out of this fretboard menu. MIDI input menu is the same. It just shows you all the MIDI inputs. The key menu no longer gives you the option of no key. No key was always the key of C to begin with. It was just a menu option that I had for some reason for some people who didn't want to bother setting the key. The hope is that you will go into this and you will set your key. So that way, yeah, just help the people that you're teaching set the key and whatnot. Okay, so that's what's going on with this menu here. The options menu has a bunch of stuff in it. So let's start going from the top. Reset settings to default. So all this stuff and all this stuff here in Fretboard Preferences and all those tuning configurations and all that stuff and all the colors and whatnot is all stored in a settings file. And you can just reset all that stuff to default. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay. Now, one of the settings that gets stored is the window position. So I'm going to just put this window up here. I'm going to quit and rerun it. All right. And it's going to reopen in the same position once it finishes loading. Okay. So that's pretty cool. All right, and I can reset this to the default window position like that if I need to for some reason. This also applies to the separate windows mode. So if I go to that and I move all these windows, you know, say I'm doing some teaching and I need to have my manuscript view over here. I need to have my keyboard view down here, and I've got my overhead shot of the piano or whatever like that. If I quit the app and then rerun it, all that stuff is, all those positions are going to be remembered, which is very helpful for a lot of the people who do teaching. Okay. These windows are resizable, which is cool. A lot of people had asked for that. The proportionality is remembered. So proportionality, aspect ratio. Yeah. So that's remembered. That's handy for some people. I know some people are saying, hey, can you bring back the square view of this? I changed the way this like displays chords so that way they're kind of more in a line. You got the main name. Let's see if I play like a big chunky chord. Let me see. Like that. This way, this chord right here, this name's not cut off. If this was a square and these were beneath it, yeah, you would just have a bunch of white space if the name was short or whatever. I'm still, you know, like this stuff can be changed not easily, but also like, you know, I just need a few hours to just sit with it and like figure out what's going on, the way it's currently positioning all this stuff, and then decide like if it's something that I like or whatnot. So I personally really like this. So that's the reason this is the way it is versus having the big main name here and then the little names underneath it. Because if there aren't very many little names, you're going to have a bunch of white space. Okay? So yeah, there's a little insight into what's going on there. All right, let me reset this back to the way it was. Let's see, switch, I'll just reset to default. Okay, let's see, window positions are saved. What else is there? Okay, so all of these note on colors and settings and whatnot. Let's see, show alternate chord names. I'll play that same chord again because it's a cool sounding chord. All right, if you turn off alternate chord names, those are gonna be gone. Okay. Let's see, show note names. That's gonna hide the note names from the piano roll and the manuscript view. The sustain overlay. So this will be helpful if I'll just go back to this chord. If I play this, let me change the sustain color to like green or something. So once I push the pedal, you can really see what that color is, okay? The sustain overlay, if you turn this off, you're still gonna see this light up here. You're just not gonna see these colors light up here. All right. Whoop, someone's shooting off fireworks. Setting off car alarms at the same time. Okay, so All right, so people had asked for the ability to like turn that off and have it remember. So that feature actually works correctly now. The dot color, this is the color of these dots and also these dots here. So if we change that there like that, for instance, that's what that's gonna look like. Okay, now again, fretboard preferences, you can just turn that off if you don't want to see it. All right. Let's see, so that's, and then the note on color is this color that shows up for the keys themselves. So you can, change that to whatever you want. It's all gonna be remembered. So we have this like purpley blue color now. Yeah, purplish color. So if I quit and then rerun and play that same chord again, it's gonna be the same. You're gonna get the same color. All right, and then if I reset settings to default, then all that stuff is reset. Okay, so let's see. If we switch to separate windows, because I reset my settings, those are over there like that. I reset my settings, so I lost those custom positions. If for whatever reason I want to reset where they go, I can do this reset separate windows to default position, and that's not going to erase all of these colors, but it's helpful if you want to reposition all that stuff. So just to show what I mean by that. And let me just move these around. I'll show you the separate windows thing, where like, I'll just make this really big and then whatnot. So that way we can see what that looks like. Some people want to have the windows at different sizes. So that's handy for a lot of people. Okay, so let me just reset this. All right, so that takes care of the new features that were kind of in this, in this update. So I want to talk about the whole beta testing thing that I did, which to me was really, really cool. So first of all, let me pull up a new window. Let me see. Okay, so let me go to the issue tracker. That's over here. So for the issue tracker, basically I did an open beta and I told everybody, hey, go here to check out, like grab the app, test it out. If you find bugs or whatever, please report them on this issue tracker. And I had a bunch of bugs that were reported, and it was awesome. Oh, and this one was actually resolved. So let me resolve this right now. Yep, labels resolved. So the best thing about this was like people would report some pretty crazy stuff, and then I would like fix it like the next night, which was awesome. And if we search here through the things that are marked resolved, we can see that like there's a whole bunch of stuff that people found. Okay, and this whole process was awesome to me. Like basically this went on for about 3 weeks, I think. I think I started this, 18 days ago. That's roughly 3 weeks, that sort of thing. The whole process was like, they got access to the beta and I said, hey, just post it here. People would report their stuff, and then like that night I would tackle it and push out the bug after I had finished my dad duty shift with my son Mickey. I don't know, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but I have him from like 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. basically. I try to tackle my course students during his nap, which is from like 2 to 4 or so. But like outside of that, I'm watching him, I'm playing with him and whatnot. I'm sure a fair number of you currently have or have dealt with toddlers. He's gonna be 2 years old in a month, in August 3rd. So yeah, he's quite the handful right now. Just talking all the time, grabbing everything and whatnot, trying to be a grown-up, because that's all he hangs out with right now. It's pretty awesome. He's taking up all my attention. So basically when he is down for his nap, I tackle my course students, and I respond to like emails of people who are running into issues with the app. And then after the workday ends for my wife and she takes over, then I come in here and I come into the studio and I start like trying to chip away at these bugs and whatnot. But the whole process of the beta testing thing, I really enjoyed it. Like people would submit a bug, I would tackle it that night. Maybe I would tackle 2 or 3 issues and get them taken care of. Get them taken care of that night. And a new build would go out and they would be like, hey, this is great. Oh, I found something else. So I had about 500 beta testers, which was amazing. I've never done a beta test program before, and people were really excited to check it out. So I am super thankful for everybody who, who spent the time and like let me know some stuff that didn't work and whatnot, and some stuff that needed fixing, and some stuff that could have been improved that was improved. For instance, some people had requested that the separate windows be minimizable, and I hadn't implemented that. I wasn't sure why I wasn't doing it. I have since fixed that since this update was released. So that's why this actually says v1.2.5. If you go grab the update now, it says 1.2.4. So this is going to come out in like a day or two. And that minimize button now works, whatnot. Like that's one of the things, people had requested, and I was like, I need to just sit and think about it. Okay. So yeah, the next time I have like a new version of this app or like a big thing that's going to happen, I'm going to do another beta test because it was so fruitful to get direct feedback from the users and like get some help with the bugs that needed fixing and whatnot. If you are a current customer of the app and you have updated and you happen to find a bug, this issue tracker is still up and running, and you can report the issue here, and I'll tackle it and get it taken care of. I'm not really taking feature requests because of the new version that I've been working on, which is not this version. So I want to spend a little time and talk about why I decided to work on this one instead of finish up that other version. And the main reason is because I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to implement all of the features that I want to implement in this new version. So for instance, the new version, the fretboard looks totally different. The whole renderer for I got cat hair in the mouse. The whole renderer for the manuscript view is like written from the ground up to be totally different. The same for the way the note names and stuff looked. Let me pull that up. All right, so as you can see, like this version looks way different. It's got this all notes off button here. I don't even have the chord engine in here yet, and it's got like a bunch of other weird stuff going on. But yeah, there's like a bunch of features in here. If I push the sustain pedal, it's got all this other stuff. I talked about the features that are in this in a different video a few months ago on my YouTube channel. And basically, I don't know when this is going to be done because there's a bunch of stuff I want to do. Like, for instance, sure, we've got clicking on here, but the clicking thing that I made here, I like it a lot better than what I've got here. And also, people prefer this, the logarithmic display of the frets, like the way they... the ones that are closer to the tuning pegs are bigger than the ones that are the other way around. So like there's stuff like that I want to fix. The whole spelling table thing needs to be fixed. The point is, I don't know when this is going to be done. And I needed to have a stable version that people can consume immediately. And yeah, the existing version that is out there in the wild right now that a lot of people have, it was kind of buggy. I'll be the first to admit it. It had a lot of problems, and the customers who supported it, they deserved software that doesn't crash. So that's why I decided to tackle this instead of try to get that other version done. There's a whole bunch of stuff I want to add to the new version. There's the MIDI playback engine. There's a whole sound module thing I want to add. So A, you can load your own plugins, and then also B, like it'll have its own sound engine in it. So if you don't have any plugins installed, it will still play sounds. So you can use it with just a regular MIDI controller, or you can just click on the notes and stuff and it'll play the sounds. Maybe there's a few of you who last year you got to mess around with the iOS version that I had in test flight, and that thing had a sound engine in it. And that was like, I didn't write that sound engine, but it was, it had like huge memory problems, and you could only, like, if you ran the app on an older iPhone, the thing would eat up all the memory. And that was like one of the issues. I was like, yeah, this is just, I can't allow this out into the world. Like, my own conscience says, this is crap software. You have to write something better. Who cares how long it takes, but you have to do it because you can't put your customers through that. I'm referring to that sound engine in the iOS version. That's also like one of the reasons that the iOS version has never been released yet, because of like, it's just stuff like that. Like, I'm just one person. I can't do everything in like, 3 days. I have to do it. Like, this stuff takes a lot of time. Like, that beta period was 3 weeks, and a lot of the stuff just, some of it takes like 2 or 3 days to figure out. So yeah. All right. That's enough ranting about that. So basically I wanted to have a nice stable version that the existing users, can finally get. And this tackles it. So I personally feel like I have resolved everything that was wrong in the previous versions. It's incredibly stable now. I'm hoping some people will find some bugs, because it would let me know that like there's still more work to be done on it. But at the same time, I also hope that nobody has like stupid crashes anymore that for me were just embarrassing that they were even happening. I'm glad to finally get those wrapped up and taken care of and whatnot. And I really hope that it improves the customer experience. As I said before, it's just me. Like, there's no other developer involved in this. It's just me. Yeah, this has always been like a labor of love. I'm really hoping that a lot of people will be able to use this to either help teach music theory or just improve their own awareness of music theory. Yeah, because music theory is pretty cool. Once you know the tools and whatnot, it can help you to be really creative and whatnot. And also to communicate with other musicians when you're doing a session and you're like, hey, what is that chord you're playing here? Oh, it's this thing. Oh, did you know that when you play that chord, you can do this other thing on top of it? So, yeah. All right. Yeah, I want to thank everybody who has supported the app since its inception in April 2015. I can't believe it's over 5 years old now. Yeah, anybody who has purchased the app, like, thank you so much. You are helping my family in a big way. Yeah, that's awesome. Basically, for the past year, ever since I started my course last June, and when I made that full-time transition to being a programmer, I haven't done any music. All I have done is write code, and everybody has responded positively, which is great. And I've been able to transition out of working for other people, which is the best thing. I mean, I love having the customers be my boss. So I can't thank the people who have supported this app and supported me and my course and just all my endeavors with this software stuff. I just cannot thank them enough for the faith that they put in me to provide a good product. And like, yeah, I don't know how to say that anyway, but thank you so much. Okay. If you haven't checked out the update yet and you're an existing customer, it's in your Gumroad library, gumroad.com/library. If you have trouble retrieving it from there, send me an email or hit up support@gumroad.com, and they will provide instructions for how to access it in your Gumroad library. Most of the time, people who can't access it in their library, they never set up a Gumroad account to begin with. So they need to do that, and then they will be able to get the update. Yeah, okay. I'm going to spend a couple more days with this and see if I find any other weird oddities that might mess with some people. And if I don't find any, then this v1.2.5 is going to come out, yeah, maybe over the 4th of July weekend, because it's July 2nd right now. So I may send it out Saturday. I just need to see if anybody finds any weird stuff. Okay. Thank you again so much for supporting the app, supporting my YouTube channel, and just supporting me, and yeah, just helping out the family. It's awesome. Thank you again so much. I will see you in the next video.